Jesus was the kind of guy that never knew a stranger. He was a friend to everybody. He cared about people as if he had created them himself because, well, he is God in the flesh. Now, throughout the New Testament, we see Jesus often eating with people. And when you think about it, it kind of makes sense. Think about the things that you do when you get together with family and friends, or your church even. It's often over food, over a meal, over appetizers or desserts or snacks. One of the very first miracles that Jesus did was attending the wedding of a family friend. And back in that time, weddings were really several day affairs. And in this particular wedding, they ran out of wine. And that may not sound like a big deal, but for them it was. And with some encouragement from Jesus' mother and her directing the servants to listen to him, Jesus performs his first miracle, turning water into wine. Not the kind of thing that you might have expected being the first one, but it was a thing that enabled relationships. Jesus, though, didn't just eat with family and friends, he ate with everybody. He didn't just eat with the powerful or the religious folk. Everyone was welcome at his table. And in fact, most often he was eating with people you wouldn't typically associate with. And people challenged him about that. Why are you eating with them? That's just gross. Jesus says, it's as if there's a shepherd that 100 sheep and one of them was lost. What shepherd wouldn't leave the 99 and go find that lost one? When it comes to God, none of us are lost, no matter how least or lost or lonely or broken we are. Jesus is a friend to all of us. He says, who needs a doctor more, those who are well or those who are sick? And so Jesus is happy to befriend people who are not 100% well. One of the very first witnesses to Jesus that goes and tells other people about him is a Samaritan, an outsider, one of those people from the northern kingdom. It was a woman who came at the time of the day to the well that she met Jesus because she wasn't welcome with all of the other women in the community to come when it was cooler in the day. She had to come at noon all by herself. And Jesus spoke to her and befriended her, much to her surprise. He told her all about her, about how she had many different husbands, and that's part of why people didn't really welcome her. And yet he saw her for who she was, without judgment. And Jesus' friendship offered her meaning and purpose and hope. Whenever Jesus would travel, he often stayed with people. One time he went into a town and he befriended a man named Zacchaeus. And Zacchaeus was definitely a guy who was always left out. First of all, because he was a tax collector and he was considered a collaborator with the Roman occupiers. And also he kind of skimmed a little off the top when he collected those taxes. To make matters worse, Zacchaeus was a very short man, and so he just literally physically did not fit in with everybody else. He couldn't see what was going on. And Jesus seeks him out, befriends Zacchaeus and says, I'm going to come over to your house for a little bit. And it just changes Zacchaeus' life completely. It changes the things that he does and the ways that Zacchaeus treats people by Jesus' love and friendship. Jesus doesn't become friends with him because he's already perfect and wonderful, because he'd already changed. No, God's friendship has the power to change people. And Jesus also had regular friends. I mean, there were the 12 disciples that you can imagine were somewhat of friends of his. But he also had friends of Mary and Martha and Zacchaeus, where he would go and eat and just spend time with them. God knows what it's like to be close to people and enjoys that. Though, as we see, clearly favoring those who are weak, and lost and lonely, outcast and left out. People who aren't perfect. And I think it's a beautiful reminder to us that no matter how low we might feel sometimes, no matter how broken or how many mistakes we feel like we've made, we always have a friend in Jesus, and that friendship changes us. And not only that, but all of those people that we struggle to like or to love, every single person that we meet is also one of Jesus' friends. That's a wonderful, beautiful thing about our God who loves to be in relationship with people.